guys, welcome to Strange Investigations. As always, I'm your host, Ron Swanson, and we're here alongside co-host
Andy Dwyer.
So today we're going to be looking into the Men in Black.
Yeah, man, you ever seen Men in Black?
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy movie, but you want to hear something even crazier? It was actually based off of true people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, so yeah, let's dive right on into it. Now, this case starts in September of 1976. It involves Dr. Herbert Hopkins. He was a physician and a UFO investigator. At the time, he was dealing with a case in Maine, Norway. Now, this case entails two men passing out after investigating a bright light. They then realized that they had waken up hours later, a mile down the road. Now, this had to have been really confusing and scary for them. Hopkins was just trying to help them.
Yeah, this was definitely a very unusual event, and Hopkins had never seen anything like this, so it was pretty historical on, the spectrum,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now, Dr. Hopkins was a hypnotist, and he was just truly amazed by the accounts of these two men that he was interviewing. He just hadn't heard anything like this before, and it was pretty crazy. It was just kind of out of nowhere, and it felt so true to him. It just felt like the truth.
Yeah, he definitely knew something bad was going on and just didn't know what was going on. So.
Yeah. Okay, men don't just wake up a mile down the road after hours. That's not what happens when you pass
no
out.
kidding.
Those of you who have passed out, I'm assuming that you guys don't just wake up a mile away from where you went down. Now, Herbert actually would get a call from the New Jersey vice president of UFO research organization, or at least that's what he wanted Mr. Hopkins to believe. This would later be revealed to be untrue, and he asked if he could meet him in person. Now, Dr. Hopkins would believe this quote-unquote vice president, and he told him how to get to his home and invited him there. And, that's obviously a bad idea if you don't know if something's... You don't want to just invite random people that you don't actually know to your home. Obviously, that's a bad idea. You don't want to let them know where you live. So if any of you ever get a call like this, I'm telling you right now, do not.
Please do not tell them where you live.
Do not follow Dr. Hopkins' footsteps. And after the call ended, he would walk outside. He was turning on the outside lights, and he had seen a strange man walking towards him. And he wouldn't know why this man was coming, and there's no reason that this man would be the vice president, obviously, because he had just gotten off the phone, and there's no way he would have already gotten to Mr. Hopkins. But, yeah, here he was, and he was walking up to him. Now, Dr. Hopkins was taken aback by this. The man was very strange. He was dressed in a strange manner. He was wearing a black suit. Maybe some of you would recognize this from the movie. And on top of that, when he had sat down to remove his hat, when he began talking to Dr. Hopkins, he had no hair on his head, not even eyebrows. He just had a completely blank face, and he talked in a perfect dictation, but he still sounded foreign in a way, very strange, and his lips looked like he had applied lipstick to them. They were so red. And, this would have been a terrifying sight for anybody. Like, this is a big man, no hair, what looks like to be lipstick, talking in a weird manner that sounds foreign but still perfect dictation. Just wouldn't be right. It would be terrifying for anybody to have to encounter one of these men in black. And Dr. Hopkins, it wasn't the only person who had to experience this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This was very strange indeed.
Yeah, it's not totally normal for this to happen. Now, they had a very normal conversation, but all of a sudden, just talking about, what Hopkins had been researching with Maine, Norway, the Maine, Norway case. Then the men in black, dressed in black, decided to become extremely menacing. It was just really terrifying. Now, when this man took this menacing turn, he gave Dr. Hopkins a coin. It was a coin that was completely unrecognizable. It wasn't a currency used by anybody, or at least as far as Dr. Hopkins could recall. and he told him to watch it extremely carefully, which he complied to, and began blurring in front of his eyes, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. Now, we have this quote, what the man in black supposedly said. He said, "Neither you nor anyone else on this planet will ever see that coin again. We can do the same to your heart." And he told him to destroy his research, and he terrified him. He made him have to comply. It was not very obvious threat, and this man was terrifying. He just seemed unhuman, and that would be a case with all of these Men in Black cases. Nobody would. This guy wasn't on any records either. It's not like this guy wasn't a government official as far as we know. It could be theoretically, but I don't buy it. Have anything to add here, Andy?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but this seems straight from a movie and just extremely suspicious, and doesn't sound right.
If anything was, and I think that really proves that Mr. Hopkins was actually onto something with this case too, because why would this man come if there was nothing going on that Hopkins knew? There's only one reason that he would actually go after Dr. Hopkins, and if he actually knew something. And Dr. Hopkins would decide to comply. He was so terrified. He actually immediately went inside of his home, grabbed his revolver, and sat down, terrified, holding it, wishing that if the man came in, he would just shoot him. He was terrified. He thought this man would come in and kill him. So he grabbed a revolver, and when his family came home, they found him sitting on the couch, traumatized very clearly, with a revolver in his hand. Had to have been terrified. And he was just completely demoralized. He actually ended up destroying all of his research. He would stop researching, and that would be the end of Dr. Hopkins' work, as far as I know. And yeah, we can only wish Dr. Hopkins the best. This obviously was a traumatizing, awful experience. Have anything to add here, Andy?
Yeah, and I mean, he did so much work. It's just sad, like, how much he went through.
Yeah, and he's obviously just trying to help people, and nobody deserves to have an encounter with these Men in Black. And Dr. Hopkins, unfortunately, wouldn't be the only man to have an encounter like this. He's the only story we are going to share today. If you guys are interested in hearing more about the Men in Black and more cases that they were involved in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. It lets us know that you are interested. And yeah, thanks for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And goodbye from Strange Investigations.